for you and for the entire Oregon delegation and the Washington delegation to renew our collective commitment to this special place and to the communities that are trying desperately to thrive here and to work together. And to the extent that you're willing to renew that commitment, I know that the Gorge Commission is ready and willing to help look into the future of this place and to secure that by working with our counterparts in Washington and in all 3 of the Oregon counties. So thank you again for your support, and please respond if you'd like.
You bet. Well, thank you for your work with the commission, and I must say the Columbia Gorge does hold a special place in my heart. My mentor, Senator Hatfield, was very involved in this effort. As a state representative, I was very supportive. Not everyone in the state wanted to, if you will, provide the funds to enable the commission to do its work. And also, in terms of the economic development, I've been able to get involved in several projects related to the community college, related to the armory, related to renewable energy, related now to, I just got language in the appropriation bill that says the Forest Service shall make available funds related to the economic development projects in this area. We're going to have to work, and I was talking to Amanda about that. Is Amanda still here? Economic development. We're going to have to partner to try to take that language, which is a little vague. Well, I like the word shoal, and I like the word funds, but we have to translate that into actual projects that can get funded in the Gorge. So certainly I look forward to being a partner and having my team be a partner in your efforts. Thank you.
Next member poll 237, followed by 227, and then we would like to invite a student who does not have a ticket to raise a question. 237.
Again, thank you for coming so that we can have a chance to visit and hear your influence. And my concern is that why, when we're in a market of so few of jobs in a downtown area that has almost every other building empty, I know a lot of people don't like the idea of Walmart, but it does create over 300 jobs for a community that has very little employment availability to people that are on low income or welfare. And why can the environmentalists or other groups drag their feet and cause this not to go forward?
So this particular issue is a local zoning community issue, and so normally I would defer to our state representative or state senator who might be here or if any of our county commissioners or city commissioners would like to say a word about this, but it's kind of outside my realm of influence, if you will. Does anybody want to make a comment about this? I will not.
Senator, I can jump in and ask my fellow local electeds to address that one. Walmart has gone through the permitting process. My understanding is it is very close now to going forward. It was a very lengthy issue. It was very drawn out, very contentious. My understanding is they've gone through about 99.9% of the hoops. Anyone? I'm up here? Okay, I hope that's right. That's my understanding on council. That's the latest I've heard.
Thank you. You want to jump in on this? Yes, yes, please.
So one of the issues that the outreach team has brought back to Washington, D.C. is the question about how do we get a more specific timeline on some of these projects, because it seems like there are a lot of federal agencies that don't have a 30 or 60 or 90-day response time similar to state agencies, and I think that's been a bit of frustration.
Thank you. Point taken, and this is an ongoing challenge. And one of the things that my team has done and will keep doing is when something is getting stuck along the way, we can write letters, we can make phone calls, we can weigh in and try to get something out from wherever in the stack it is and try to get to the top of the stack. Did you want to turn to a student next? Or?
Well, call 227, last one.
227?
My name is Tom Sophia. I live in Murdoch, and not very far from the river. And we were concerned, as a lot of people, about the coal trains going by and coal dust blowing all over along the gorge, especially when the wind blows. What's the latest on that?
The governor and I called for the whole concept of this coal port development to sit still until we have a programmatic EIS, which would look at all the dimensions of the impact from trains running through the middle of town and stopping, dividing some towns, the coal dust, the impact of the coal dust on the river, upon the health, upon the quality of the tracks, because that's also an issue, and also on the effect of this coal being burned, the downstream, if you will, international impact. Recently, I think 2 months ago, Senator Wyden and I sent another letter following up, pushing on this concept that this is a very big decision that will have a huge impact on communities, and it needs to be thoroughly studied and vetted.
Is there a time schedule?
So I think the critical permits are basically state permits. We were trying to get the Corps of Engineers to do this broader study. They have weighed in and say they don't think they're required to and they don't want to, and we're trying to get them to do it. But the time schedules are on the state permits.
Thank you.
We would like to invite any of the students here. Questions from any of the students for the senator. Please raise your hand.
Is our teacher of the AP class here? No? I'll weigh in with him later. We'll write down your names. Who would like to ask a question? What are you concerned about in the world?
I see a thumb pointing back there. Come on now.
Zach Newton, extra credit, first one.
Okay, Zach. Where's Susanna? We gotta have Susanna writing this down. Susanna, you'll connect with their teacher, right?
I was just wondering if there's any like money of the federal government going towards new schools and schools in general. Like I know the school's over 100 years old and we just seem like we keep getting cut money and more money. So it seems like we're running out of it. I was just wondering what your take on that was.
Yes. So the funding for schools has been evolving. When I was in school, it was all local school districts and it was all property taxes. And the state started to become a significant player in this, and the federal government started to provide funds for specific purposes. It has two what they call formula funding, which means that they distribute the amount of money throughout the nation, basically on a more or less a per student basis. And those are called IDEA, which is for programs related to students with disabilities, and Title I, which goes to school districts that have a significant amount of low-income students. So just last week, we passed a spending bill called an appropriation bill, or you may read in the press, omnibus, which is just a way of saying it covers all the sections of the 12 sections of the federal spending bill all at once. And it provided $1 billion more for Head Start and about $1.2 billion for the two formula programs, disabilities and low-income schools. Now, if you're talking school construction, this has traditionally been a local property tax responsibility, but we have a lot of aging infrastructure. And one of the ideas that just was pondering in the meeting with the city and county officials was whether we might be able to take an idea that I've pursued for water infrastructure called WIFIA, which is basically lending to communities at the lowest possible rate. It's very close to the Treasury rate because the defaults are very low, so you don't need much of a margin to cover it. And whether that similar structure could be utilized for school construction. The idea just kind of germinated less than an hour ago, but largely apart from that, the only other thing I know of is that there have been periodic funds to make school buildings more energy efficient, and sometimes that helps as the infrastructure is reworked, windows, roads, insulation, and so forth.
So my next two numbers, 235 and 242, and then I'm going to call on the student again.